The Pulse the Program series, can't stop it, can only hope to contain it as it keeps on rolling. We're going to Austin, Texas for this one. Always have to say it because we have a ton of y'all that are new and we're so freaking grateful for it. We're glad to have you a part of this operation. The Pulse the Program, first note, program is not misspelled. I already know we're going to get somebody in the comment section saying, hey, it's program. Have some professionalism. Have some respect. Okay, well, I wish you would watch the video because we spell program with a U around here because that's the way that we talk about these football teams. Also, the Pulse the Program is meant to do a couple of things, meant to take a pulse internally of the fan base and how we're feeling about our team. Also, take a pulse as best we can tell within that locker room, within that building. What's the internal vibe? More often than not, there's overlap between those two. The fan base and the locker room kind of coincide, in my humble opinion, with where the approach is at and where the sights are set for 2023. And I don't think Texas is any different because for Texas, they've been through it now these last couple of years. It's been tough because on the outside looking in, you hear this a lot if you're a Texas fan. Unrealistic fan base, arrogant fan base. You just every single year expect your team to be in the college football playoff race. You expect to win the Big 12 every single year. And every single year, y'all just seem to underachieve. That is consistently the chorus of naysayers outside of Austin, Texas. And I want to be clear, too. This is not something that is completely just out of bounds to say because you do have expectations at Texas. 100%. Now, the whole arrogant thing, you probably hear that from fan bases and, you just have loud voices on Twitter. Like, it is what it is. You feel me? But honestly, like for Texas, the reason why they feel like they always have a chance is because they've consistently recruited well. Since 2018, they have been outside of the top 10 in the On3 industry team recruiting rankings one time. One time. So that tells me you consistently have a top 10 class, which should equate to typically a top 10 roster if you're doing it right and developing right and have the good culture and all that. Like the talent in Austin, Texas is always there. And talent is good reason for optimism, is good reason for expectations. Now, here's the thing, though, that Texas fans have been told internally, rather, or has been, sort of the message around the fan base within Austin, Texas these last couple of years is be patient. Be patient. It's Sark's first year. It's going to take some time. We miss a bowl game. It sucks. It's not what we expect. It's for sure underachieving, but there are some things going on within this team that need to get fixed. It's going to take some time. Be patient. And so you were patient through year one. In year two, you saw improvement. You saw 8 wins. You saw Quinn Ewers look great. You saw him look pretty lackluster. You saw the defense play well. You saw the defense play poorly. Like, you saw some inconsistency from this Texas team. But with that being said now, we're going into year 3. Now Steve Sarkisian should have a developed culture. Now Quinn Ewers should have his footing as the guy at Texas. Now you have some of those top 10 classes developed and the guys that chose to stay are bought in. The pulse for Texas, pulse the program at Texas, is let's eat. Let's eat. We've been told to wait. We've been told to wait until this meal was ready. And now we're coming for everything that y'all have told us to wait for. We've built to this. We've built to a culture that should be solid. We've built to a year where we have a quarterback that's experienced and we have a head coach that has all his guys on campus now, allegedly. Like, we waited for this, let's eat. And that is the exact same thing that the Texas locker room is saying. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But I want to make sure that we get this in here because the hard count is brought to you by our good friends at Bird Dogs. And I want to say a couple things about Bird Dogs. Look good, feel good, and they don't smell, and like they're just approved worldwide by all circles of life. All right? Perfect example right here. This past weekend, I'm at the pool with some of our friends from our church group, and one of my buddies, he's like, hey, we're going to hang out after this too. I don't have a change of shorts. I'm like, dude, I got you. I got a pair for you. No problem. Throw them my Bird Dogs. And we show up to the next thing we were doing. I think we went out to dinner after that. And his wife is like, cool shorts. Where'd you get those? Are those yours? He goes, no, JD gave them to me. I'm telling you, they're wife approved. They're life approved. They are athletic feeling. They look good. Like, I'm telling you, on all fronts, Bird Dog's going to take care of you. So when you check out at birddogs.com, use promo code JD. We'll get you one of these here. I'm going to make sure I reach over and show y'all. Nice little Yeti-style tumbler from Bird Dogs. Man, I'm telling you, this thing is going to take care of you, keep your drinks cold, keep your coffee hot. Like, life is good. You will not want to take your Bird Dogs off. Promise you that. So thank you to Bird Dogs for keeping us looking good and feeling good on here. All right. Now, as I was saying, when you talk about Texas, the feel internally is the same thing. The feel for Texas is, let's eat. Because for the last few years, it has been a acclimation process. It has been the growing pains. It's been the ugly. It's been the let's get the bad culture out. I mean, I go back to Bo Davis's rant on that bus all the time when you talk about Texas. They lose to Iowa State, and it was embarrassing. Texas should not have lost to Iowa State on that day. Even so, Bo Davis walks on that bus and says, if you don't want to be about this, and he had a few more expletives laced in there, but if you're not about it, get in the portal, because we don't want you here. Winners want to win. Winners want to win, and they've been told for so long that they're building to this, and they went through the growing pains with the portal, and they had guys transfer out, they had guys transfer in, and now you're in year 3, and they feel like, okay, now we've paid our dues. We've got the sweat equity in there. We've lost some guys along the way that wanted to transfer out, that weren't about it. If you're still here in year 3 under the Steve Sarkisian era, or if you were recruited by Steve Sarkisian, you are one of us. You are about winning. You are about the right things. You're bought in. And so you have that side of things. And then also you look across the roster, you got to feel pretty good about what you got. You got Xavier Worthy. You have a stocked running back room. That's unproven, but I think you have a lot of depth there. CJ Baxter being one of the guys who's a freshman who I think you should be really excited about. You got Isaiah Nayor, who is chomping at the bit to get back in action. A transfer from Wyoming last year, tons of ability. People were really excited about him last year in Texas Longhorn circles, and if he's healthy this coming season, he's going to be a problem. A.D. Mitchell transferred in. Quinn Ewers in his second year, who a lot of people think could be a first-round draft pick should he do what he's capable of doing. There's no secret for Texas. They have the opportunity on the table here. The meal is on the table for Texas. For them, they're like, okay, let's eat. Let's eat before we get out of the Big 12 conference. Let's make this happen. I want to make sure that we say this, though. For Texas fans, there is going to be the narrative, if they don't win the Big 12, it's a failure of a season. And some parts of this fan base may feel that way. I think you're allowed to feel that way if you want to. I would argue, though, the majority of the fan base is looking for continued improvement. Because I talked about recruiting trail and what they've done on that, and that hasn't stopped under Steve Sarkisian. They just landed a top 3 class in 2023 that includes guys like Arch Manning, that includes guys like Jonte Cook. So the future is bright. The future is bright at Texas. But if you can make the Big 12 title game this year, I think that's the kind of meal you want to eat. If you win it, finger looking good. You go and win the New Year's Six Bowl, phenomenal. Extra sauce, that's dessert. But the reality for Texas is this is not a one-course meal. Like, this is not a winner take all. This is our one window. We have to do it this year. This is an opportunity to do it this year. The table is set. The meal looks good. Eat as much as you can. But if you don't get it done in 2023, depending on how that looks, I don't think it's a failure. Now, it's got to be improvement. Lack of improvement, I think, is failure. But failure to win the Big 12, I don't think you can argue that. Because either way, whether they win the Big 12 or they don't, we're going to be sitting here in, I guess, June of 2024, and we're going to be saying, well, how can Texas stack up in the SEC? Everyone's going to be asking that question. You feel better about it if you win the Big 12, but those questions are going to come either way. So for Texas, the pulse of the fan base and that locker room is let's eat. The fan base has waited for it, and they are ready to finally just guzzle all of the burnt orange Kool-Aid, or guzzle even more burnt orange Kool-Aid this coming season. And for Texas, they've got everything there, culture-wise, talent-wise, on the staff. Like, they feel like they have all that they need, and it's matured to the point to where they can really eat how they want to eat when it comes to the college football season in 2023. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.